Okay, this session I want to show you how to draw a section and also the purpose of a section. So a section is a slice through a building, and they're used really to show you what's maybe within the wall cavity, below. It can show you how one level relates to another level. So what we need to do first of all is decide where you're going to take your slice through your building or your section. So I've tentatively put in a line here, but my section could be down through this way. It could even be just a little section through this part of the building here. So what we do with our section first is we've got to be able to show where we've taken that section. So you can see here I've put a dashed line, and I'm also putting these arrows. So the arrows show which way I'm facing. So it's as if I'm standing here looking towards the top of the page. So once I've done that, I can then use the lines on the page to help me get started to see where I'm going to need to put in walls. So what I'm going to do is just with a ruler, just mark in some of the things on my section. So you can see here, this is my external wall. There's some kind of bench. I also have a wall here. I can see this as well, which is another wall, so I need to mark that in. The next thing I see is, we need a bit of a bigger ruler there, this line through here, so I can mark that in. Now, I can just see the next one is part of this. I'm not going to put the furniture in for this one because I think that's just going to confuse things, but often we do take a slice through the furniture. And the next part here is the wall which has a window in. So you can see I've just made some lines across my page. I'm then going to put in my floor. So I'm just going to draw a line through here. Now, if floor changed height, you would show that on there as well. So first thing that I'm going to do then is this wall doesn't have any windows, so I'll just move back there. So I'm just going to show that as a solid wall. Now I know generally the ceiling height is between 2.4 and 3, so it could be 2.4, 2.7, 3 metres. So I'm going to do this one at 2.4 and using a scale of 1 to 100 because that's the scale size of the floor plan. So 2.4 would put me there. So I'll just put that mark in, and I could draw through. If I've got a flat ceiling, I could again put that through the section as well. So this is the bit that I'm going to draw. Anything above there is above the ceiling. Anything below there is below the floor. So this first line here is a solid wall. And I could just shade that in, or if you're using a marker pen, so that's showing my solid wall. I then want to show that I've got this bench, so you're showing fixtures. So on the bench, I know that a vanity in a bathroom is around about 800 high. So I'll just mark that there. Now, if the vanity is one that floats off the wall, hangs off the wall, I would show it like that. Now the next thing I'm showing is the wall. So I'm going to just show that as a cut through the wall. Then the next one is this line here. So I'm just showing that as an edge because it would be just look like looking at a blank wall. Okay, so then I would be looking at the couch. I'm not going to draw that in now. The final thing is the window. So depending if it's a full height window, I might show just a little bit of a solid wall there and the bulkhead part at the top of the window, like that. And I can either just show that as one pane of glass, depending on what type of glazing that I've got there. Now, anything then that I do down here is what would be below. So if I'm on a cement block, so if I was talking about a house in Tasmania, for example, often they're on a solid slab, cement slab. If I'm doing a tropical house, then I might show that as being on high. Generally, there are supports under walls, depending on, so you might just make these up. We don't have to be too worried about them. But if I'm showing this as a tropical house, then I'm going to show my floor joists as, so this is my floor, and then often there are floor joists that sit below this. Okay, so I might show it that, and then I can show that the breeze, can come underneath my building and cool it. If I was doing this as a concrete slab, then I'm going to show it with usually brick piers underneath the walls, and that's my concrete slab. Concrete is shown just as little dashes like that, and I can also show that that might be insulated, and also that it has a waterproof membrane to stop any moisture rising from the earth. So the next part of the section is going to show any other fittings. So we can see, I'll just move this down a little bit. So we can see here that we have, oops, got that down, yep, that we've got some kitchen benches over there. So I've already drawn in the lines, so you can see that's the end of the bench. Kitchen bench height is 900. So if we have a look at 900 on our scale, that is going to be about there. And that bench continues all the way across. So even though I'm going to draw a line down here to show this edge of the line, if I'm cutting this section, I can see that all the way across. Now that looks like an island bench. So because it's fitted, I would need to show that as well. So if I just have a look at where that comes through, so we've got that island bench coming in here, and the end of the island bench is in there. So, oops, I think I've done that too far. Yep, so the end of the island bench is here. So just ignore that, we'll erase that later. And I can put that across there. Now this here looks like a sink, so I could even put my tap up like that to show that I've got a sink there. And then these are just going to be lines because this is the edge of that, and then this would show the bench behind it. So I have got a line there, and then this here looks like a fridge, and I'm not sure what these are. So a freezer and a fridge, so they're probably higher. So depending on what that looks like, I could in fact mark those in as well if they're high doors like that. So you can start to see how the section starts to take place. Now above here is going to be the ceiling. So we always have in there some sort of ceiling joist, so I could go along, draw those in. Now in between those there might be some insulation, so I'd put that in there like that. And then depending on what type of roof I have, depends on what else I see. So just to show you this, I might show this as being a higher roof and this as being a flat roof. So under the flat roof, I'm also going to have some reflective insulation, and I'll annotate that in a moment. Now, if I had a window in here, and instead of having this ceiling through here, it's going to be a sloping, or what we call a skillion ceiling. So I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to put some insulation in there so I could do my little wiggly bits. So we're taking that out, and I might even put a fan in the ceiling here. Now, if this is a window, you know, I can show that. I can show all sorts of things on this. So I could put the sun up here, summer sun not coming in, winter sun coming through. So you can start to get an idea of all the things that you can show. So this might be my R6 insulation, and then I might have reflective, and then that might be ColourBond. So I can show all the sorts of things that I might be using on my building.